Moshe Rabbeinu is telling us. He's bringing this covenant to bring you into the covenant of Hashem your God and into his oath that Hashem your God seals with you. Whoever is here, standing with us today before Hashem our God, and whoever is not here. And furthermore, those of us that are not glued to Hashem and perhaps think that maybe there's another way, or better yet, I'm already keeping mitzvot. I observe Shabbat, wear modest clothes, I eat kosher, I'm not robbing anyone. Enough! Then Moshe Rabbeinu tells us, perhaps there is among you a man or a woman, or a family, or a tribe, whose heart turns away today from the fear of Hashem our God, to go and serve the false gods of those nations. Perhaps there is among you a man contemplating sins or malice, and it will be when he hears the words of this oath, he will think in his heart, saying, peace will be with me when I go as dictated by the sentiment of my heart, so as to add for him the unintentional sins onto the intentional ones. A person that simply thinks that they're doing enough and they don't need to care about the rest of Klal Yisrael, they don't necessarily need to care about the spiritual poverty, material poverty, or even, quite frankly, they don't even need to care about their own spiritual poverty. They're doing enough. I'll do whatever fits with me in my heart. Moshe Rabbeinu says, in that particular circumstance, where a person says, I'm doing enough and everything will be fine, that alone acquires that person a decree worse than all decrees, where HaKadosh Baruch Hu will punish them by turning all of their unintentional sins that otherwise they would have been punished for, but not as severely. But Hashem now turns all of their unintentional sins into intentional ones, which get the most severe punishment. Why? Says the Biurei Onkelos and the Nefesh Ager, because this type of unacceptable attitude of peace will be upon me, I'm doing enough, shows that this person's heart is not with Hashem. And therefore, Hashem will punish them because he intends to follow the dictates of his heart. Both his intentional and his unintentional sins are committed with the same disregard for Hashem's will. Meaning that since he disregards Hashem's will, then he doesn't get the special privilege of Hashem actually judging him differently based on different things. Because he doesn't care about any of the decrees. He doesn't care about any of the mitzvot. He just cares about whatever is in his own heart. She just cares about whatever she thinks is good. She thinks it's much more important for her to get an extension to her house or a more fancy kitchen than perhaps to publicize Torah, perhaps to help Am Yisrael do Teshuva. It's much more important to take $40, $50, $60, $70, $100,000 and get ourselves a nice vacation, or a more beautiful chandelier, or a nicer jewelry, than to help Am Yisrael. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, if you have that kind of an attitude, where your jewelry is more expensive than your donations, your car is more important to you than your fellow Jew, then what ends up happening is you're saying that you're doing enough. And by saying that you're doing enough means that you actually don't really care about Hashem's honor, you don't care about Torah, you don't care about anything. And therefore HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, then I don't care about you. I don't care about how I'm going to judge you. I'm going to judge everything the same thing, because you judge all my mitzvot as if it's nothing. Moshe Rabbeinu continues by saying, Hashem will not be willing to pardon him. For then Hashem's anger and his wrath will be intense against that man. And all the curses that are written in this book will adhere to him. And Hashem will erase his name from under the heavens. Hashem will set him aside for evil, from among all the tribes of Israel. Like all the curses of the covenant that are written in this book of the Torah. Later generations will say, your children will arise after you, and the members of the other nations will come from a distant land who did not hear about this covenant. When they see the blows of the land and the illnesses with which Hashem has afflicted them, it's comparing it to Sodom and Gomorrah. All the nations will say, for what reason did Hashem do this to the land? What is the reason for the intensity of this great anger? They will say, meaning even the Goyim will know this, after they see how much Hashem beat us up if we have such an unacceptable attitude. Because they forsook the covenant of Hashem, the God of their forefathers. You believe in God, that means that He is above and beyond nature, He's above and beyond time, He's in control of everything, and if He wants His people to follow His Torah, then He's going to ensure that they have the truth and not some corrupted version like they have in Islam or in Christianity. And therefore, Kadosh Baruch Hu says, in chapter 30, verse 6, that after we do tshuva, after we fix ourselves, Hashem your God will remove the foolishness of your heart and the foolishness of the heart of your children, enabling you to love Hashem your God with all your heart and all your soul, so that you live. Hashem will give you bounty in all the work of your hands, in the child of your womb, in the young of your animals, in the fruit of your land, for good, when Hashem will return to rejoice over you for good, as He rejoiced over your forefathers.